Hey there, it's Kurt Phillips, author of The Hand of the Archer. There's a Dun, Texas by Eric Butler. There's a whole collection of those. Check those out too. But when we last left off, Will had just been ripped from his DMT trip with Thorazine by an EMT. It was dawning on him that something was wrong and he didn't want to be a part of it. He pushed away from the desk and slipped through the kitchen and into the hallway bathroom, on the other side, pulling the door mostly shut behind him as he peered out the crack. The wheels of the stretcher extended to the floor as Jim, Evan, and Maddie reached the bottom of the stairs. They rolled out of the door and onto the front porch, making their way to the ambulance. Will stood in the dark bathroom for a few moments before finally turning on the light. He jumped at his reflection. He hadn't expected to see it in the mirror. He'd forgotten what his particular reflection looked like. His first reaction was to flick the light back off, returning to the solitude, the absence of his own self. Instead, he decided to remove himself from the situation entirely. He cracked the door and spied into the kitchen. With no line of sight to the front door or the ambulance in the street, he inched further out as the door creaked open bit by bit. He tiptoed to the office, creeping like a 6-year-old, through a haunted hallway toward a midnight bathroom. He saw the daybed in the office, and it released a stream of memories. He'd come to this house to, in the words of Bart's came to him first, to take a journey. The full memory snapped into his mind like the strap of a slingshot. He smoked DMT. He walked into this house. He'd run this morning, and then he walked to Joe and Maddie's house. They talked, and then Will suddenly felt a twinge of dread. Even the out-of-focus memory of an anxiety attack made him feel uncomfortable and exposed. He closed his eyes and shook it off. Focus. Get the fuck out. As he turned to escape out the back door through the kitchen, he stubbed his toe, alerting him to the fact that he was shoeless. My shoes. Where are my shoes? Fuck, my shoes are in the office. Will listened, straining to hear the voices of the paramedics, his back against the wall like some Cold War spy. The lights of the ambulance danced through the stained glass of the front door. Red, green, and blue mosaic shards lit up the white walls of the hallway. Will forced his gaze from the light show and peeked out the window. He could see the ambulance with its back doors open and Bart's feet extending down below them. He moved quickly and quietly to the daybed and picked up his running shoes. Just as he heard the ambulance door slam shut, jumping back into the hallway and into the kitchen before the front door opened and the paramedics stepped back into the house. Will was all the way to the back door before he realized his fleece and jacket were still hanging on the coat rack. God damn it, too late. He slipped out the door and onto the back porch, delicately closing the door behind him. Will turned the handle back into place to avoid the slightest sound. He looked over his shoulder as he stepped through the snow to the back gate and out into the alley, hopping as he slipped his running shoes onto cold, wet feet. Will stuck his hands in his jeans pocket and turned back to Whistler Road. The Hand of the Archer, now available on Kindle, and if you're in Austin, as always, go check it out at Book People at 6th and Lamar. Happy reading.